People of the internet were certain. Oh, we're going on this one today.
Okay.
We're not doing that camera?
All
Okay,
right.
here we go. 3, 2, 1. People of the internet, we're certainly glad to see you again. This is DraftKings' nightly DFS and sports betting show. We call it The Sweat alongside Jessie, Coffield. I am Emerson, Lotzia.
And on the menu tonight is our conversation with Yankees manager Aaron Boone, NFL over-under, and some PGA Price Check. But let's get started with some MLB Chaser fade. And here to help is our baseball panel, DK Live, Steve Buchanan, Pierce Dietrich, and from the Quant Edge, Brian Entrikin.
Okay, starting with a couple of New York Mets specials you can find on DK Sportsbook. First, they have Pete Alonso plus 135 to hit at least 52 home runs this regular season. He's at 38 right now. That's one off the MLB lead. So chase or fade. Alonso can hit 14 more before the playoffs. Steven, lead us off.
You know, these sportsbook guys, they're so clever. I mean, at the current pace that he's at right now, he's going to exactly nail that total if, you know, everything goes well here. Just going by the player alone, like, yeah, you think Alonso's going to hit this. And what I like about this, too, as well, is that he's hitting them just as much at home as he is on the road. Like, Citi Field is obviously, you know, thought of as a pitcher's park, but 20 of his 38 home runs have come at Citi Field. The park factor is obviously not a difference for him either. So, yeah, I think he's totally in the realm here. Like I said, current pace has him at 52 if it stays at that same pace. So, yeah, I think it's definitely taking the over on this one.
All right, Brian, what do you think? Can the rookie do it?
I'm going to go just slightly below. It'd be great to see 52, but you give me some big postseason matchups with the likes of Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg and some big-time NL East pitching, and I'm going to give him just below, but it's going to be close because on pace isn't over, so give me just below 52.
All right, you like these odds here, Pierce, for the home run derby champion?
I'm going to fade it. And Steve's right, he is on pace. And if you look at his numbers, exit velocity, launch angle, swing and miss rate, everything's been pretty consistent. So he should stay on that pace. The problem is it's September. There might be days off. There might be a slight injury. There may be just some fall off in September. And he just can't afford to have that. So he needs every single game to stay on pace. And I think he goes just below it.
I don't know how many days they're going to give this kid off, though. They're only one back of the NL wild card. They need him out there, Pierce. Thoughts? That's it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Emerson. Another Mets special is focused on Jeff McNeil. They got him at plus 200 to win the National League batting title. Christian Yelich has the lead right now at 335. McNeil's right behind him at 334. And Brian Reynolds is in third at 333. So Brian, chase or fade, McNeil goes on a tear down the stretch and wins this race.
You can lock it up now. Jeff McNeil is winning the batting title. I absolutely love this. You got Christian Yelich. They're going to take care of him trying to get to the postseason with that bad back. He's back tonight for the first time in over a week. McNeil is one of the best pure hitters you've seen in baseball. He doesn't care about hitting home runs. He just cares about slapping it around the diamond. Give me Jeff McNeil winning the batting championship. I love those odds.
Wow, lock it in. All right, Pierce, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to chase as well. I like Jeff McNeil. He's been a 320, 330 hitter all throughout the minors. I mean, we're talking about a thousandth of a point here. But if you match him up against Yelich, you're going to see that Yelich, he strikes out more and he walks more, and that means less plate appearances. So that strikeouts definitely affect his batting average. Whereas McNeil doesn't walk very much and doesn't strike out, so he's going to get more attempts. I think that's going to help his batting average overall.
Steve, these guys say McNeil's going to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely has a great chance. You know, obviously batting leadoff is helpful too as well, or also could be to his detriment. But these odds are terrible. Like, I wouldn't put money on these odds at all. I mean, you get better odds on guys hitting a home run on a given night, like plus 200 to put money down for, you know, something that's going to end up taking place a month and a half from now. Like, you're just not getting enough odds here. So many things can happen here. Injuries, goes on one of those bad streaks. He's totally out of contention here. Like, these odds are just way too small for me to like what I could get back here. But, you know, overall, I do think that McNeil has a really good chance there. Even when he played last year, he only played 63 games. He hit 329. So, I mean, it's not like this guy isn't a good hitter. Did it all throughout the minors, too, as well. So, I think he definitely has a good chance to do it, but I wouldn't take it at these odds.
All right, let's move on from the Mets because they're not exactly sponsoring this show. So, good matchup in Cleveland tonight with Chris Sale and my guy Mike Clevenger starting. Yeah, it's from Jacksonville.
All right.
We bonded when we had him on. DK. Duval. Okay, DK has both their strikeout totals at 7.5. Chase or fade, they both hit the over, Pierce.
I'll chase. It seems that Chris Sale righted the ship in his last start, and one of the changes that he made is he really increased his fastball usage. Threw the fastball more than he has all season long. It resulted in 72% K rate and over 50% whiff rate, and he basically put the changeup in his pocket. So I would imagine that he will continue with that success. And he might not have a monster game, but I will imagine he'll go over. And then you look at Clevenger. He's just had one bad game this year. And the rest of his games, we had a 6K strikeout game and then 7K or more in every other matchup. So I'll chase.
Okay, where are you going on this, Steven?
You know, that was such a missed opportunity by Pierce. I mean, we're talking about strikeouts here. What about the umpire? Like, wow. I mean, that's
stats.
Saving that for later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Great. Look, both teams are hard to strike out. Like, the Red Sox have a 20.4 K percentage against right-handed pitching. That's 26th in the league. Indians, 18.2 K percentage against lefties. That's 28th in the league. It's hard to feel good about the over on both sides here. Like, it's an enticing number for both sides. Chris Sale, one of the best strikeout guys in the league. Mike Clevenger, been getting up, double-digit strikeouts numerous times this season. But you look at some of the other ones that we have on the board here, like Matthew Boyd against the Mariners. They have a high K percentage in the league against lefties, over 8.5, plus 105. Brendan McKay, over 5.5. We'll talk about that guy later. He's at 130 to hit the over here. So I think there's other ones that are more enticing to take. And then, of course, look at those umpires, like old Piercy says.
All right, so you're fading it. Pierce is chasing it. Brian, are you Team Pierce or are you Team Steve?
Oh, boy.
I'm going to be Team Steve on this one. I really agree with what he had to say is with the fact these guys don't strike out a lot. These are two very, very good teams that hit a lot of contact, and the Indians are actually sneaky good of late against left-handed pitching. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Chris Sale actually get hit around a little bit tonight, but I like not both to hit over 7 strikeouts tonight.
And Sale, 5Ks shy of reaching 2,000 in his career. That's a big number, I'm being told.
That is a big number. All right, Aristides Aquino has been unreal since being called up to the majors by the Reds. After going hitless in his first 2 games, he's now riding a 9-game hit streak with 8 homers in that span. Now, DK Sportsbook has his odds to homer tonight against the Nationals at plus 310. So chase or fade, Aquino goes deep again. Steve.
I mean, you're getting really good odds with somebody that's absolutely crushing the ball right now. I mean, a plus 310, you really can't ask for anything more than that here. So, yeah, I think these are really great odds here. Obviously, when you're seeing the ball that well, and we've seen guys go on run like this, like it just feels like nothing can stop you here. But, someone else too, Josh Van Meter, another spoiler alert for later. He's at plus 475 too. I think that's a really good enticing bet as well. But, I mean, you just can't stop this kid right now. And if he's going to be on one of those type of runs, yeah, plus 310 sounds good to me.
Brian, you like these odds?
Yeah, the odds are great for a guy that's breaking the StatCast metrics of hard hit rate and exit velocity, night in and night out, just hitting moonshots all over Cincinnati and then Washington last night. You got Joe Ross on the bump tonight where righties and lefties are hitting quite well over his career and even this season. So you give odds like that for a guy to go deep. I don't mind that at all. I think it's really, really solid. And Aristides, the legend of Aristides Aquino continues tonight in Washington.
Okay, Pierce, where are you going with this?
Well, every time we talk about one of these home run streaks, we've got to talk about another legend, Chris Shelton in 2006. 9 home runs in 13 games. He finished the season with 16 home runs. But this is different. Shelton never really had power. Aquino has 28 home runs in AAA this year. He had a ton of power in AA and in high A. And as they mentioned already, he's hitting for a ton of power. The launch angle is there. 30% barrel rate. I know it's a small sample size, but you look at Nelson Cruz is up around 26, Gallo up in near 30. When he hits the ball, he puts it in the air, and he absolutely crushes it. I think the streak's going to continue.
Lovely work, gentlemen. You guys get ready for some hot or not. Until then, I'm catching up with Aaron Boone, and we got some NFL to talk about.
Ooh.
Tyler Sullivan here with your DraftKings Fantasy Flash. Dak Prescott will eventually be a very rich man, but the Cowboys QB is taking his time to get the proper deal that reflects the market. According to multiple reports, he has declined Dallas's initial offer of a contract that would have paid him $30 million a season. That would have put him among the top 5 quarterbacks paid in the league, but he's apparently looking for a richer deal. Per Jane Slater of the NFL Network, Dak is asking for a deal more towards $40 million annually. Of course, this is just the dance of negotiation between the two sides and will likely come to terms somewhere in the middle. And while Dak may be willing to wait to strike a deal, there's some emphasis for Dallas to try to get something done. That $30 million offer a season may have been nice a few months ago, but the QB market has since seen an uptick with Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz signing massive extensions that raise the floor for someone like Prescott. While comparing him to fellow NFC East QB in Wentz, Dak does have him beat when it comes to wins, passing yards, game-winning drives, and of course, durability. Given that, you may not want to scoff at his asking price, you may just get it or come close to it.
All right, it is a great day to talk Yankees baseball with Aaron Boone, so let's go ahead and do that. Good to see your face again, my friend.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. My wife's not mad at me today, so that's always a good thing. But the injury bug continuing to feast on you guys like an all-you-can-eat buffet at Golden Corral. But looking at this team's performance this year, I mean, it's really hard to tell. So how important has the next man up philosophy kind of been for your ball club?
Really important. One of the messages here has been the expectation hasn't changed, no matter who we brought into our locker room, whether it be from the minor leagues, whether it be someone from outside the organization. There's an expectation here, and that expectation exists because they're really good people and talented people that have come through those doors, and more than we ever imagined, that have truly had an impact on us winning games. But they've all done a great job of buying into that expectation and absolutely going out and delivering.
Is there someone like you could single out, like who's been the glue in the locker room this year? I mean, really helping everyone kind of, stay together?
Oh, man. One of the guys, I'll say Cameron Maben, that we brought from outside of our organization, I think it was April when he got here. At some point, he joined us when we were in Anaheim. He's had a really good impact on our team. Not only his performance between the lines, where he's been excellent, his ability to play all three outfield positions, speed he brings to the game. He's been a very good hitter for us, very good at bats, disciplined at bats. But he's been powerful, I feel like, in our clubhouse as well. And guys have really responded to him, and he's become an important person to our team. And it's really been neat having him.
Yeah, a little easier when you guys are winning the way you are too, right? Everything's good in the clubhouse.
Usually that works, but
yeah.
But we have a really strong group of guys that I think, I would describe them as hungry.
Yeah.
This is a hungry group of players, and they all come every day with a singular focus on what can we do to help us win.
So I haven't talked to you in a few weeks, but you guys pretty much stood pat at the trade deadline. I mean, many people thought you'd possibly go after a big-name starter. So, I mean, right now you're looking at your rotation. I mean, what makes you think they're ready for this postseason grind?
Well, I think I look at it more as our whole staff being capable of hopefully going on a special run here down the stretch, hopefully getting us into the playoffs, and then hopefully we can do it in October as well. But we have a lot of good pitchers in our room. We got a couple more that hopefully are on their way to help us. We get Jonathan Lotzia back today as part of the mix. CC Sabathia is hopefully going to join our rotation again this weekend. Luis Severino and Dylan Betances are making really good progress. We think they're going to be absolute factors for us. Tanaka's coming off one of his best starts of the year in Toronto. Paxton's really starting to gain some momentum the way he's throwing the ball. So we feel like some good things are happening with our pitching staff, and we're going to need all those guys to step up in different ways and hopefully piece it together to do something special this October.
And looking way, way down the line here, how much have you looked at the 2020 schedule that was released on Monday?
I just peeked at it, some of the highlights of it. We're obviously playing in Iowa against the Cubs at the Field of Dreams, so that'll be pretty cool. But just a couple of the highlights, and we're playing against the NL Central in interleague play. But other than that, I haven't really dove into it that much. What excites you the most about that Field of Dreams game? I think Major League Baseball has done an amazing job of creating these places. When I was with ESPN, we went to Fort Bragg a few years ago and had the game on the base where Major League Baseball built this amazing field that everyone on the base was at the games. That was a pretty special experience. I got to be a part of the first game in Williamsport between two major league teams, also with ESPN. So I feel like, and then this year, obviously us going over to London and playing a couple games, I think Major League Baseball has done a great job of making these really cool, intimate, big-time events, though. And I'm sure the one next year in Iowa will be similar.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be really intimate because I think it's only like an 8,000 seat stadium, right? That they're building.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be really neat and intimate, but it'll also have this really important big feel to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And where does Field of Dreams sit in your sports movie rankings?
Oof, it's up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it on the top of my list, but it's definitely up there. It's a good one.
What would you say is at the top of your list?
A baseball one. I love Bull Durham. You know, I played in some of those parks. It's a little bit of it's just before me, but basically my era, so I can certainly relate to a lot of those things in the movie. I love that one.
See, I'm like a rookie of the year, like Sandlot kind of guy. Is that your number one overall sports movie or just baseball movie?
That's probably my number one baseball movie.
Okay.
I'm not sure. My sports, I'd have to dig in.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Rocky count? Does that count?
Yeah,
sports?
yes, that's boxing. Absolutely, I'll allow it. Come on, man. Come on, Adrian.
Yeah, Remember the Titans? You know, like I don't know. Those are a couple off the top.
You like those movies that just kind of pull at your heartstrings a little bit, huh?
No doubt.
Hey, any other movie ballparks you think would be fun to kind of recreate like this?
Movie ballparks?
Yeah, I know. And then like the only thing I could think of is like the Sandlot. You know?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know, man. I'm sure Major League Baseball already has some thoughts in the works.
Yeah, they've got some creative people on their team. Yeah, they know what they're doing.
But this one should be pretty neat.
We just love Aaron Boone here. All right, everyone.
We do, and he loves us.
Yeah,
he loves us.
He
knows how much I made him smile. So you want to find someone who looks at you the way Aaron Boone looks at me.
Yeah, you can find that exact statement on your Instagram and Twitter accounts.
Yep.
All right, everyone is getting super excited about football and not doing anything productive on Sunday for the next, foreseeable future.
Yes, except watching our show that it will eventually arrive on Sunday mornings.
Right.
That's super productive. And then afterwards, you can stuff your face with all sorts of food. But we got DK Live's Andy McNamara, the Action Network's Matt LaMarca, and Ian Harditz of RotoWire here to play NFL over/under on season win totals according to the DK Sportsbook. Okay? Everyone's excited, right? About the Browns?
Yeah.
After the way they played in the first preseason game against Washington.
So excited.
Really stoked about that game. That doesn't mean anything. The hype train, though, is chugging along, and their win total set at 9.5. Andy, would you take the over for this young bunch?
I would, guys, and I'm an unashamed Browns fan for years, so I'm going to try to quell the fandom and actually look at it logically. But I'd say yes. You look at the division; it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard fought. But the Bengals are on the way down. I'm not buying Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers could be in a transition without Antonio Brown. We want to talk about the drama of Brown and Bell, but the talent is gone. So I'm going to go over with the Browns. I think the schedule is there, and Baker Mayfield's the real deal.
I see the real deal in your eyes, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, first off, shout out to Andy's lighting. I feel like I'm watching a film noir right now.
Wow, and how about your lighting? It looks awful today.
Really?
Wow.
Too bright, huh?
Yeah, really bright.
All right, I can fix it.
Thank you.
Listen, this team, I don't really care so much what they did in the preseason. I care what they did last year once they got rid of Hugh Jackson. I mean, Hugh Jackson absolutely destroyed this team. They were plus 11 in turnover differential in 8 games with Hugh Jackson. Somehow they went 2-5-1 in those contests. Since 2006, 38 teams have posted a turnover differential of 8 or better through 8 weeks. The Browns are the only team out of them that did not have a winning record. So to say that Hugh Jackson was a bad coach is an understatement. He was arguably the worst coach we've ever seen. Under Freddy Kitchens, Baker Mayfield took a notable step forward. He averaged 8.1 yards per attempt, 100 passer rating. And I think it would just be natural to see some progression from Baker, regardless of the coach. Top 15 quarterbacks drafted in the top 15, 45 and 70 as rookies, 97 and 56 as sophomores. So it's just natural to see those guys take a step forward. Paying Baker a rookie salary also means they can spend up on defense. All but one team is spending less than the Broncos this year. So I think that this team has a lot going for it. I am also on the over.
I'm sorry, but Gus Bradley is the worst head coach we've ever seen. But maybe
Disagree.
you're just talking. Maybe you're just talking over in
He
Cleveland.
just disagrees.
Ian, really good to see you again. Haven't seen you in forever. You're always a great follow on Twitter. But you're going to go over or under 9 wins here for the Browns.
Good to see you too, man. I got the over here, but we've been talking about the Browns for 5 minutes and haven't said a word about Odell Beckham Jr. You got the best wide receiver in the NFL now. I don't care. Throwing me off there, Andy. But the one thing with the Browns that we got to take a look at is the offensive line. All right, Greg Robinson came there for the last 8 games of last year. He played pretty well, but let's face it, he's still on his third team in the last 4 years. I mean, he was kind of anyone's idea of a bust before then. They also traded Kevin Zeitler to the Giants. So few questions up there, but the skill position players are so good. I think the offense will continue to be an above average unit with Freddie Kitchens running things like LaMarco was saying. And lastly, this defense could actually be really good this year because we saw Denzel Ward start to emerge as the number 1 corner last season. They added Greedy Williams, one of the better steals to the draft there. And suddenly, this defensive line is a formidable unit. Myles Garrett is on the cusp of stardom. They added Sheldon Richardson, former first-round talent. They added Olivia Vernon from the Giants in that Zeitler trade. So they're going to be a problem to deal with up front. And like I said, even though I'm a little bit worried about the O-line, I'll take the over on wins here because, hey, this team's got talent everywhere.
All right, Andy, so you do like that OBJ addition.
Love it. Absolutely. The thing about this, guys, it now, and you expand it to a fantasy perspective, it drops Jarvis Landry back down where he's supposed to be as a possession receiver. So his value is going up. It's perfect all the way around.
Cool.
All right, how about the Packers? They got a new head coach in Matt LaFleur. Do you think he can fix things in Green Bay and get them over 9 wins this season, Matt?
Matt, we can't hear you. Something happened to your audio.
Sorry.
There we go. There we go.
I honestly don't know what to make of this team. I don't know what to make of Matt LaFleur. Like, getting rid of Mike McCarthy, obviously a good thing. But if LaFleur is going to coach the Packers like he did the Titans, I'm not sure how much of an upgrade it was going to be. You know, we all made fun of the Titans and their exotic smash mouth offense under Mike Mularkey. But LaFleur actually ran the ball more than Mularkey did when he had his chance to call the offense. So the Packers have everything you would want to be an elite offensive team. They have Aaron Rodgers. They have the 3rd most expensive offensive line, and they have a really good running back in Aaron Jones. I just don't know if this is the right coaching staff to get them there. I'll take a slight over just because Rodgers is a stud, but I don't feel nearly as confident about it as I do with the Browns.
Ian, what do you think? New head coach? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, come on.
I got the under here. Look, it's been the same thing in Green Bay for like the last 5 years now. They trot back the same team again and again, and they just expect different results. Rodgers is the man. Look, he's an all-time great. I'm not denying that, but what changes did they make other than adding LaFleur, who, like Matt said, I mean, doesn't have the most amazing track record in his 1 year as a play caller. And he deserves a little bit of slack. Marcus Mariota, I mean, he was dealing with like a nerve injuries the whole season, couldn't quite throw the ball like he wanted to. And Aaron Rodgers should be healthier this year, but he's still in the same guys he was last year. You know, Jimmy Graham's corpse is still running around at tight end. Even if the running game does take a little bit of a step forward, I'm just not convinced that we're going to see Rodgers kind of get back to his 2010 to 2014 like level efficiency. And if he's not going to do that, they better be pretty good everywhere else on the field. The defense, look, they finally spent some money on some pass rushers, and they got some young guys in the secondary that could take a step forward. But I still think the Packers are the 3rd best team in that division behind Minnesota and Chicago. So I got the under.
But Ian, they have Mercedes Lewis now too. Let's not forget about that, okay?
Fair enough.
Let's actually forget about that. Andy.
You know what? 9 is, that seems just about right to me. So I'll say, if I have to pick over, I'll say over maybe 10, but 9 seems just about right. To me, the biggest concern is egos. Is Aaron Rodgers, when it all comes, they might be playing nice now, but when it comes down to it, LaFleur wants one play, Rodgers is in there, hey brother, I won a Super Bowl, you didn't. And he calls his own audible. He does whatever he wants. How is that going to play out in the dressing room, on the sidelines? That's my concern. Until they can prove they can coexist and Rodgers can play nice with the new head coach and give him some cred, I think the Green Bay Packers, I think the guys are right. They're the third best team in that division right now.
Okay, let's move on to the Cowboys. They always seem to be making headlines for whatever reason. A lot of contract disputes. Ian, you think Dak can prove he's worth the huge contract he wants and get them over 9 wins? You know, reports yesterday were that he turned down
$30 million.
$30 million a year because
he wants 40.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Anyway, you think he can go over 9?
I think the Cowboys can go over 9. I'm not going to put it on Dak's shoulders as much as the rest of this team because let's face it. I mean, they almost get overshadowed because the Eagles are so talented, but the Cowboys are probably one of the more talented teams from top to bottom in the NFC regardless. The defense last season was anyone's idea of a top 5 unit in the league, and the offensive line, one of the highest paid units in the league, is getting back perennial all-pro center Travis Frederick. So, you know, we like to make fun of Dak's contract numbers, Zeke holding out, old man Jason Witten being back at tight end, but there really aren't many holes on this team. And say what you want about Dak, the guy has been winning ball games. So while they do have to have those tough games against the Eagles every year, they also get 4 cake matchups against the Giants and Redskins sprinkled in. So I think 9, you know, they can easily hit that or maybe even get to 10 even if they don't win the division.
All right, but there is going to be a big hole in this team if Zeke's holdout continues. So, Andy, what do you think here? Right now, the way this team looks, over or under 9 wins?
Yeah, it really comes down to this, guys. If Zeke Elliott's there, it's over. If he's not, it's under. And Dak Prescott, when you talk about the contract, is going to get paid either close to that $40 million, whether he deserves it or not, depending on Zeke Elliott. That offense runs through Zeke, plain and simple. To me, Dak Prescott is somebody who, if he has pieces around him, can be very good, but he doesn't elevate talent. The great ones elevate and make players around them better. Dak can play good with good players, but if not, he's not going anywhere. And so for me, Dak Prescott, he's right in the middle of the pack. I kind of put him at that Andy Dalton level. So I think if Zeke Elliott's there and you got the pieces, with Amari Cooper, when he was added, Dak went up to from week 9 onward. He was a top 6 fantasy quarterback. You got Cooper, you got the whole team together, the triplets, over 9 wins, if not way under.
Yeah, I agree with you. Zeke makes Dak better. Matt,
Yeah.
over or under 9 wins right now?
I do think Zeke plays, but I will still take the under. The Cowboys, one of only 11 teams in league history last year to win 9 games by single digits. If you look at Pythagorean wins, which measures just points scored versus points allowed, essentially, Cowboys had a record of 8.4 and 7.6. So I think they were definitely lucky last year if you look at some of their results. I do love the talent on this team. You get that edge when you're paying Dak Prescott just $2.1 million. It allows you to spend up on the rest of your roster. I just don't trust the coaching staff and Jason Garrett in particular to utilize that talent in the best way.
All right, good stuff, guys. Quick break here, and we'll be back with our baseball panel for MLB Hot or Not.
Hey, it's Brendan Glasheen, and with this DraftKings Fantasy Flash, Andrew Luck hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, and the reasoning behind that is so he can rest his injured calf to 100% health. Well, apparently the calf isn't the only thing keeping the Colts QB off the field. Team owner Jim Irsay told SiriusXM NFL Radio Monday that Luck's training camp absence is related to a bone issue in his lower left leg. Irsay added, it's a small little bone, and you learn in Anatomy 101, the calf is a muscle, not a bone. So is there more wrong with Luck than Indy has led on? Irsay said he feels very confident Luck is going to find his way through this thing. Colts host the Browns for joint practices Wednesday and Thursday ahead of Saturday's preseason game in Indianapolis. It remains unclear when Luck will return to practice and heck, his status for week 1 of the regular season at the Chargers. Hello, I'm Brendan Glasheen here with a Week 2 NFL preseason preview. It's presented by Angel Has Fallen. The hero becomes the fugitive in this action-packed new film starring Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, and Jada Pinkett Smith. In theaters August 23rd. I am joined by DK Live Steve Buchanan. And Bukes, let's start by looking back. What stood out to you, if anything, from the first week of the NFL preseason that could help you build your DFS lineup for Week 2?
Yeah, I think it's so important to keep up with what the beat writers are saying on Twitter, because those are the guys that are closest with the team, kind of know what's going to be going on here. Like, we take the Patriots, for example. You know, Damian Harris was a very popular play for Week 1. He didn't even end up taking a carry. We saw Nick Brosette, Brandon Bolden handle the carries here. And, there were reports out there that Harris wasn't going to see any action at all. So if we had been keeping up with that, that could have helped you build your lineups here. So keeping in tune with the news, definitely something you want to be looking at.
Okay, now how about your favorite pick for the Week 2 preseason slate?
Yeah, so we saw Nate Sudfeld go down with an injury to his non-throwing hand. He's going to be out for about 6 weeks now. So I think Cody Kessler is going to be the one who's going to be taking the majority of the QB snaps here in Week 2. And, getting those guys that are going to go more than a couple of quarters is so key and so vital to get those points. They have a lot more opportunities to score those fantasy points. So I think Kessler, even though he's probably not the best fantasy quarterback that we can choose from, he's in a position to put up a lot of time on the field this week.
Hey, he's the Eagles' backup as of right now. All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, and that'll do it for this Week 2 NFL preseason preview presented by Angel Has Fallen. The hero becomes the fugitive in this action-packed new film starring Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, and Jada Pinkett Smith in theaters August 23rd.
What is that?
They're drones! They're drones! Get the president in the water!
How long after this last concussion did the migraine start?
Pretty much right away. No, we're going under. Dive deep!
You need to be a lot more careful.
Agent Banning is charged with the attempted murder of the President of the United States.
You said it was from a car accident?
Yeah.
What line of work you in?
Computer sales?
A statewide manhunt is underway.
Mike?
You okay?
What's going on?
There's somebody else behind us. It wasn't me.
I just want you to come home safe.
I love you. You almost blew me up.
You're welcome.
You can't hide from us. Don't worry about finding me. I'll find you.
It is time for one of our favorite segments with some of our favorite guys. Welcome back to our baseball panel. DK Live, Steve Buchanan, Pierce Dietrich, and from the Quant Edge, Brian Entrikin. Time for MLB Hot or Not. So will the following players exceed expectations and give you that flame on your DK app, or disappoint and give you the cold, chilly little snowflake?
Oh, God. First up, Lance Lynn. He's the most expensive player tonight at 11-3. He'll go up against the Blue Jays, who absolutely torched the Rangers last night for 19 runs. Steve, do you think Lance Lynn will be hot and cool off the Jays?
One thing I do think is hot will be Angel Has Fallen, which is coming out on August 23rd.
So yes, that is a fact. We can back that up, baby. We can back that up.
So here's the thing with Lance Lynn. Like, you look at his game stats, you look at what he's done all season long. Like, he hasn't allowed more than one run in 3 straight starts now. But we've seen the Blue Jays hit him already prior this season. They got him for 5. And the Blue Jays have actually been hitting pretty well. I mean, let's just take out that 19-run game from yesterday, because obviously that's going to kind of skew the numbers a little bit. Even prior to that, in 5 games before that 19-run outburst, they were averaging 5.8 runs per game over their last 5 games. So it's not like this offense isn't clicking on all ends right now. So I actually think this is kind of a sneaky spot for the Blue Jays. I think they can actually get to Lance Lynn tonight. Nobody is going to be on a Blue Jays stack here tonight. So I think Lynn's actually going to be a not for tonight. And I actually kind of like the Blue Jays here.
Pierce, what do you think? Everyone's just hyped on Lance Lynn because of last night. Tonight's not going to go that way.
I'm going to go hot. I believe in the hype. He's turned his it's not like his career was falling apart, but he's taking it to the next level, and he's done what we've seen a lot of pitchers already do. They take the sinker and they just throw it away. There is no place for the sinker in baseball anymore. Why are you pitching? Where are you throwing that? People like to strike out, so just go ahead and oblige them by throwing fastballs, moving fastballs, and that's what he's done. He's stuck with the fastball this year, his cutter. The Ks are there. The Blue Jays strike out 24% of the time against righties. There's a lot of right-handed bats in here. Really, the bats that you want to worry about are right-handed bats, and the team is just 260 WOBA, 140 ISO. I say he stays hot.
Okay, we got one cold, one stay hot. Brian, whose team are you on?
I'm on Team Cold. I'm a big Toronto Blue Jays. These young Jays are really, really fun these days. They were my top stack last night. I like them a lot tonight. You got Bo Bichette, who just gets doubles and home runs and all over the place. You got Vladito, that's heating up all over the board the last month or so. And even Gavin Biggio from the left side can mix it in there. So there's a lot to like with the Jays. They might strike out a bit, but when they hit the ball, they hit it really hard in that ballpark, the Rodgers Center, with the roof closed. It's going to fly. So give me some Blue Jays to temper Lance Lynn.
All right, one of the mini Yankees who has just been letting it fly lately, Gio Urshela, 8 hits in his last 3 games. He's got another nice opposite-hand pitching matchup tonight in Baltimore's John Means. Pierce, can he stay hot here? The Yankees just absolutely own the Orioles right now.
Yeah, you just got to play Yankees at this point. They seem to completely own the Baltimore Orioles. He's actually been better against right-handed pitching. It's a small sample size, but if you look in the minors, he struggled against left-handed pitching throughout his minor league career. Hit 118 against lefties in 2018. But the way I see it, being the Yankees owning the Orioles, I don't believe Means is going to be around that long. So you're going to get Gio versus a terrible bullpen. He'll face right-handed pitching. He'll be just fine.
Okay, Brian, what do you think here, bud? He is the 4th highest priced third baseman on this slate.
And that, to me, is a crime because Urshela is an absolute smash tonight. Like, just play him. He's hitting 500 over his last 15 games with 8 homers and 8 doubles. He's hitting everything. Means is going to at least 1 home run in each of his last 5 outings. And then Pierce mentioned that Baltimore bullpen may be worse than the starting rotation, which says a ton about how bad they are. So he's just going to feast on horrible 4A pitching all night. Get Gio Urshela in there at 5K. It's a great savings. It gets pivots off the high-priced Coors action. Great play tonight.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know how you make an argument for not here. He's got to be hot, correct?
The better content for this segment here would be having someone come on that would think that he's not going to do well or that the Yankees are not going to do well against his Orioles pitching staff tonight. I mean, look, he's got great numbers against lefties. 375 WOBA, 255 isolated power, 6 of his 18 home runs. And then we're talking about how the bullpen may come in. The other part of this, too, is that maybe the bullpen won't come in because they have nobody left available because they've been maybe David Hess actually gets left out to dry in this one because they literally have nobody left to use. We could see Chris Davis on the mound at this point because that's the only able body they have left to throw on the mound.
And he hates his manager.
Right. I mean, no matter how you break it down, like, even if the Yankees don't do well here, everything, all the numbers tell you they should do well tonight. So, yes, of course, Gio's in a good spot tonight. We'll give him a nice little hot icon.
Okay, guys, Whit Merrifield has 4 straight double-digit fantasy point performances. His salary has been steadily increasing. Brian, are you feeling like he'll be hot or not tonight?
Not tonight, unfortunately. He's facing a very, very good pitcher in Jack Flaherty this evening, and righties are quite the kryptonite. 2-1 Flaherty. So I'm a big fan of Flaherty tonight at his price point at 9K. And as much as I like Whit Merrifield, righty's only hitting 201 with a 262 WOBA this year against Flaherty. And he's striking out almost 34% of the right-handed hitters he's facing this year. So I'm a big fan of Flaherty shutting down the Royals, and that means shutting down Whit Merrifield.
Okay, Steve, we got 1 vote for the Snowflake here.
Yeah, let's continue with the snowflakes. I mean, he's just too expensive to find out, to get in your roster and find out on your own here. He doesn't have enough power against righties. He has a 156 ISO overall against them here. And then, like we just heard, Jack Flaherty is just so good against opposing right-handed bats. Coffield Stadium, it doesn't exactly help them either. If you're playing low ball tonight, there's a lot of Royals guys that you could use, so that could be good for your low ball lineup because low ball is everything. If you're not playing low ball, you're not playing DFS. Low ball is probably the best thing that DraftKings has done. But aside from that, Merrifield, not great for your regular DFS lineups, but a wonderful pick for your low ball lineups.
Okay, there you go, low ball lineups. Pierce, what do you think? Are we going to snowflake all around?
Yeah, let's go 3 snowflakes for the snowman. And it's just not a good matchup. I'll reiterate what they've already said. Righty versus Flaherty. The WOBA's not there. A 160 ISO against right-handed bats. 3.0 xFIP from Flaherty, only allowing 33% hard contact. Merrifield's going to cool off tonight.
Hey, Steve, real quick, maybe anyone who is new watching right now, what's the low ball lineup? How different is that?
Oh, so low ball is you literally want to have the worst lineup. Like, you want guys to fail. So when you're playing low ball, you want guys that are not going to do anything. So, like, if you have a low ball lineup, the guy hits a home run, like, you're angry. Like, why did you just do that? You're in my low ball lineup. So you want them to actually do nothing. So low ball is great. If you're not good at DFS, you'll be great at low ball.
Sounds good.
Okay, good stuff,
Sign me
guys. Jeff and Reed join us for PGA Price Check after a dose of the Tour Junkies.
Finally! I also like Joaquin Neiman at 100-1. Jocko Neiman, 100-1.
What is he at? 100-1? Nah, you're not gonna get a 20-year-old winning his first tour event at the freaking second playoff event.
You never know.
FedEx
Bryson
Cup.
DeChambeau last year
It's
won
a
like
terrible
2 play.
bet.
Bryson DeChambeau won 2.
He had already won on tour. He won the John Deere.
I don't care. Neiman's been playing extremely well lately.
You don't have to care if it's not a good argument.
Well, what do you got? Let's see what you got. Let me poke some holes in this one.
Well, for
you've set yourself up for some mighty high expectations of your picks right now.
Well, again, this is DB's big balls, long shots, man. Like I'm not doing that little stuff.
Okay, well, let's start with 300-1 that have literally no chance to even win.
Well, Harold Varner was 300-1 last week. He had a pretty damn good chance to win.
He did not, so you lost the money.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he had a great chance to win. Anyway,
but
I'm going to start.
Win. It didn't matter.
Well, most of the time they don't. I'm going to start at 45.
So what? The point is to give a winner, not a freaking almost a close.
I'm giving a value. I'm giving a good value for the field.
Hey guys, I gave you a guy. He was 300-1, but he didn't win, but he was close.
All right, I'm going to go with Xander Schauffele at 45-1. That's where I'm starting.
Okay, I just gave you Usti at 45-1 . So how is that any different than your play right there?
Because you called him a short odds guy. This is like painfully short for me.
No, I said he was a longer odds guy.
Yeah, which is actually that's what I meant. That's even dumber. Xander's the only guy I have in double digits, 45-1. We know Xander's a big game hunter. We know he's won Eastlake before. He can play in these big field events. He's a bomber. He can score. He's coming off the missed cut. He missed it on the number. I don't care. I think it's a great value. Anytime I get Xander at 45-1, I don't care what the tournament. I'll take it. I'm going to go with Charles Howell III at 100-1. I like the ball striking ability of CH3. He's looking to get into his first tour championship, I believe, in many, many years. So I like CH3 at 100-1. I'm going back to the well with Harold Varner III at 125-1. Coming close, man. If it stopped today, he'd make the tour championship, but he's on the bubble. He needs a good week, and he's confident. He's a kid that can score. He's putting well on these bent grass surfaces. I like him at 125-1. A guy I know that you like, Corey Connors, 175-1. The Canadian won on the PGA Tour earlier this season. Great ball striker, very accurate off the tee, gaining strokes in both categories, like top 10 in both categories recently, gaining strokes. Ryan Palmer, also at 175-1. Another proven PGA Tour winner. Can hit the ball a long way when he needs to. He can club down if he has to. 175-1 for Palmer. And then finally, I'm going to go with a guy who is a former Players champion. The Players, which they say is the toughest field in golf. The strongest field in golf. Stronger than the field he faces this week. And he won it. Siwoo Kim at 225-1. In a 69-man field event. That's what I'm bringing these people is value. A 69-man field event, and you're telling me I can get a Players champion and, by the way, multi-PGA Tour winner, Siwoo Kim at 225-1? You got to have a half a unit or something on him.
Our graceful golf gurus are here. DK Live's Jeff Ulrich, his best friend Reed Fowler. How about some PGA Price Check, gents?
Ooh, sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Love the enthusiasm from Ulrich today.
Okay, so do you think the following players are priced right for the BMW Championship? So Patrick Cantlay has finished T12 in his last 2 events. Jeff, do you like his price at $9,800?
Patrick Cantlay's interesting. I mean, people liked him last week. It's interesting because he just about missed the cut last week. He was kind of hovering around the cut line. Then he sunk a couple putts on Friday, got in comfortably. But his ball striking was pretty poor last week. Like, he was 78th in greens in regulation. He really just putted well. He still ended up T12, which is nice. I mean, people obviously see that. They're pretty happy if you rostered Patrick Cantlay last week. He's a major cash game play that paid off for people. But Price is up a little bit. Poor ball striking week. Only relied on the putter last week. Like, I'm a little wary here. He might make for an interesting GPP target because I guess sentiment might be actually like a little bit lower because of the price increase, and he's right in between Justin Thomas and Patrick Reed. I'd personally just stay away. I just don't like the ball striking numbers the way he's trending. I think Reed and Thomas are trending in the right direction. So I think Cantley's a little bit overpriced.
Reed, he has finished inside the top 10 in 9 of his last 10 starts dating back to March.
Wow. Yeah, and arguably he's had one of the best seasons, best first half of the seasons. And to Jeff's point, he's kind of faltered a little bit towards the end. He's still a solid player. I think when you look at his price, the guys that are above him, right, Justin Thomas, John Rahm, DJ, Rory, these guys are going to be priced up there no matter what. I mean, outside of a freakish accident, these guys aren't going to be priced lower. So Patrick Cantley is priced where he should be. He was making birdies last week. Even though his ball striking was bad, he was still making birdies, and he's coming in right now in projected ownership around 20%. So I disagree a little bit with a GPP play for Cantley. I actually think Patrick Reed, to what Jeff was saying earlier, a guy that he mentioned, he might be a nice GPP play right below Patrick Cantley at 9,600. Guys that win the week previous, for whatever reason, in GPPs or in just DFS, we tend to fade these guys of how hard it is because it's really hard to win back-to-back tournaments. But this guy has been playing well for a while now, and if he's coming in at 10%, he might not win, but he could still ride off a lot of birdies here.
Reed, kind of crazy to talk about like a 26-year-old turning back the clock, but Jordan Spieth stepped it up last week, finishing T6 at the Northern Trust. He's going to cost you 8-9 this week. Is that the right price for him? You paying up you gonna pay up for him for that amount of money?
Not for Jeff's boy. Jordan Spieth at 8,900. No. Look, Jordan Spieth actually was hitting the ball a lot better than he has been this entire season, and he wasn't making his miracle putts. He was still making putts, but they were coming, with some great ball striking. Great in terms of what Jordan Spieth has been doing this season, but it's been the same story. He does well on Thursday, Friday, so maybe Showdown, where he's $100 cheaper at 8,800 on Thursday. You might want to look at that as opposed to long term, because when you look at just what he's been able to do on Thursday and Friday, especially last week, he gained almost 4 strokes for his ball striking on Thursday and Friday, and then the putter obviously worked, and that just changed. It switched drastically where his luck ran out with his irons, and he couldn't make the putts that he was at the beginning of the week. So now, when you have Xander, when you have Paul Casey, even Bryson DeChambeau, who's run into a lot of issues over the past week, I'd rather play those guys in favor of Spieth.
You gonna play him, Jeffrey?
Yeah, don't play Bryson. He doesn't like golf, according to himself. So.
Yeah, what is up with that today? What a cop out.
Even like the sport he plays. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think I've said a positive thing about Jordan Spieth all year, and it's for good reason. It's nothing personal. It's just, dude is not a good ball striker, and he hasn't been ball striking well all year. And his iron play improved last week. His off the tee play did not. He was basically last in driving accuracy. He lost a ton of strokes off the tee. His iron play improved. He gained over 5 strokes putting in a round again last week. He was first in strokes gained putting. He just, he keeps doing this. He just pops with these rounds where he just does not miss with the putter. And you say, well, that's good. I mean, it's all good, but like that kind of variance will not last. He was actually putting quite poorly earlier in the year. It'll turn eventually, and if that ball striking doesn't keep turning for the positive, it's going to be bad. I wouldn't pay up for him. He's at least $1,000 overpriced, in my opinion. This is also a longer course with thicker rough. So good luck missing all the fairways here, Jordan. You're going to need it.
Okay, Jeff, how about Reed's boy Tony Finau for 8,500?
Boy, Finau really let me down last week. I mean, I came on the show. I don't think Reed was here.
No,
I made him my weekend pick, and he did like nothing the whole weekend. Just even par. I think it was like 1 over. Terrible. At the same time, his ball striking was okay. It wasn't that bad. His iron play wasn't good, but off the tee is actually pretty accurate, which you want to see this week. Long, accurate players are really going to have an advantage at Medina. It's a long course, like I said, with rough in there, but there's 4 par 5s. Finau was trending well before last week, so I'll give him a little bit of like a one-off here that he can just get it together. He didn't putt well last week either, so bentgrass has traditionally been his better surface. I still like him here. The price is still very reasonable at 8,500. We know he's got a ton of upside just with the birdie or better percentage, so I'm definitely still on Finau this week.
It's your boy, Reed.
Yeah, what more needs to be said? When Jeff agrees to play Tony Finau, that's all we need to know.
Yeah, it's a cold day in hell.
I know. Hey, I played Louis Oosthuizen last week, or I bet Louis Oosthuizen, that didn't work out the best. He still did pretty well, but like I agree with Jeff. With Tony Finau, you want his putting to get to normalize a little bit. That's always the issue with Tony. But at Medina, this is going to be a course where you're going to get birdies. So birdie rate, birdie or better gain, those things are going to be important off the tee. Clearly is going to be important. Not necessarily huge distance. So, I mean, you're not necessarily looking for Tony just to hit it out there extremely far, but it's an advantage, right? And his approach has been nice. And when you look at courses that are 7,400 yards or more, these par 72s, Tony ranks out extremely well tee to green. And just his rolling stats from the last 3 tournaments, tee to green is top 15. That's right around where Paul Casey is. Paul Casey's getting a lot of buzz in that same price range. So if Tony can stay at like 10, 12% at that price range, I like it.
Guys, really good talking to you. We are running tight on time, so we'll do it again tomorrow. Yeah. Put up your Bukes is next.
That's true.
Tyler Sullivan here with your DraftKings Fantasy Flash. Antonio Brown is trying to put the helmet saga behind him, but does need your help. The Raiders star receiver is set to rejoin the team on Tuesday after losing his grievance with the NFL surrounding his old helmet, which is now banned by the league. The NFL reportedly allowed Brown to wear the same type of helmet he desires, but will only be able to do so if his camp can find one that is in good condition and is less than 10 years old. In hopes of finding that helmet, Brown has put the call out to his followers on social media saying, quote, "I'm looking for a Shout Air Advantage adult large helmet that was manufactured in 2010 or after. In exchange, I will trade a signed practice worn Raiders helmet." So if you know anybody who has that helmet or you have that helmet, you might want to give AB a call. In the meantime, Brown will be back with the Raiders and continue to recover from a severe frostbite on his feet after entering a cryotherapy machine wearing improper footwear. So yes, the Raiders will have Brown back in the building, but he still needs to get healthy and find that helmet before making a positive impact on the offense.
It is our final segment of the day, and we are welcoming back our baseball panel. We got DK Live, Steve Buchanan, and Pierce Dietrich, and from the Quant Edge, Brian Entrican, and it is time for Put Up Your Bukes.
Yeah!
Steve gives us 3 predictions for tonight and DK point projections. The rest of the panel tells us if they agree or not.
And if you've been following Steve on Twitter, you probably noticed he's been tweeting out that pic of himself from that show.
He loves it.
Telling everyone that's how jacked he is in person, which is true. We have hung out before. Okay, so your first Buke.
Oh, I love that ringing endorsement. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to go with Brandon McKay here for 21 DK fantasy points. You know, if you're looking for a value pitcher here tonight, the obvious choice here is Dustin May. But with May, is going to become a lot of high ownership here. So I think McKay is a really, really good pick off of that. He's my favorite value pitcher overall on this slate here. He has a 26.4 K percentage through his first 6 starts in the majors, and now he's going against the Padres team, who has the second highest K percentage in the league against right-handed pitching. I really like this spot for McKay. I feel like he is just not being talked about at all on this slate, which is pretty surprising because it is a large slate, but there's so much focus on May in this slate here that I think McKay is really going to go under-owned here. So I think he's in a great position here. And now we get to listen to Pierce talk about his stupid umpire stats, because now I figured out that's what he's going to talk about. So I can't wait to hear this one. And yeah, we'll hear from Pierce.
Okay, thank you for doing my job, Pierce.
Well, you got to give the people what they want, and I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to troll. He's right with the K numbers, but when they're not striking out, they hit lefties pretty well. 337 WOBA, a 108 WRC+, 199 ISO. And McKay's given up 2 home runs in each of his last games, 42% hard hit rate. But look, David Rackley behind the plate, and this is the umpire that allows the 4th most runs per game.
Great. Wow, that was it? That was your big finish?
Yeah.
All right. Brian, where do you sit on this one, bud?
It's a tough one because I'm a big Brendan McKay fan, but I'm with Pierce on this one. The Padres are actually sneaky good versus left-handed pitching with Tatis, Machado, Renfroe, and company. When you look at McKay, yeah, he has the strikeout upside in this matchup, but a 356 WOBA versus right-handed hitters gives up a large amount of hard contact versus right-handed hitters, and over 2.5 home runs per 9 to right-handed hitters makes getting 21 DraftKings points quite difficult.
Okay, so no one liked that one, Steve. Let's see how your next one goes.
You know, Brian's new to the show, so, you know, I'll give him a pass on that one. But now that he knows how this goes, like, we better like the next few if you want to come back on the show. We're going to talk about Steven Piscotty here for 16 DK fantasy points. Only 3,500 tonight. I mean, I've said it numerous times before. Piscotty's like one of my favorite players. Like, I absolutely love Stephen Piscotty, especially when he's going against a lefty. And I don't give two craps if they're in Oracle Park. I don't care if it's Madison Bumgarner. This guy absolutely mashes left-handed pitching. 415 WOBA, 250 isolated power, 5 of his 11 home runs on the season. Now you might be saying, oh, only 11 home runs. Well, he's been hurt, okay? He's had stuff going on. He hasn't had a full season, so don't let the 11 home runs fool you. If he played a full season, he probably would have 50 by now. So don't be fooled by that. So Scotty, 16 DK fantasy points. Love him tonight.
Brian, you don't have to agree, just letting you know.
Yeah, don't be scared.
I'll just come back on an episode Steve's not here because I don't agree at all. The WOBA of 311 for Mad Bum versus right-handed hitters bodes very well in this situation. Piscotty, sure, he's great, but I will use Oracle Park at night as a big factor there. The ball does not fly out well at all in that ballpark. Mad Bum has been sneaky good of late this season. That's one reason why they kept him. Another reason because they're delusional. But I do like Piscotty to get under 16 DK points tonight.
Okay, Piers.
Yeah, Bumgarner's velocity is up this year. He's almost doubled his strikeout rate on the fastball. I thought Steve would mention that Bumgarner's actually given up 7 home runs at home this year, but he didn't. But you really don't matter. It doesn't matter anyway because he hasn't given up a home run since. Well, he's only given up 3 home runs since the beginning of July. The last time he's given up a home run at Oracle was June 25th, and I just don't see the home run coming.
Steven.
That's great, 'cause that's never going to give a home run again. Is obviously what you're saying. It's just never going to happen again.
Probably not.
Okay.
And your third Buke, the second one in a row here that doesn't even have a profile picture on DraftKings when you look his name up.
That's great because you know what? It's just sneaky plays. Everyone looks for those profile pictures. This is going to be Josh Van Meter, 14 DK fantasy points, only 3,900 here. Unless you're a Reds fan, you probably haven't even heard of this guy. You just like Emerson, very headed for us here.
That's me.
But he's going to be facing Joe Ross here. I mean, look, he hasn't pitched much this season, but over the span of his career, he has consistently struggled against lefties. 408 WOBA, 7.43 xFIP against lefties so far this season. And Van Meter, what he's done is he's hit righties well. 375 WOBA, 204 isolated power with 4 home runs here. Batting 5th tonight, so you're getting some good value here, especially if you don't like Ross. If you like the Reds here in this spot, I think Van Meter is somebody you definitely want to be looking at.
Okay, Brian, how do we feel here about these projected point totals for Josh? So that'd be 14.
I will side with Steve on this one. I'm a big Josh Van Meter fan.
History.
I've been using Van Meter as value for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and this is a good move here. He already gave a bunch of his stats for his right-handed pitching. He also left out he's got a 52% hard hit rate for his right-handed pitching, which bodes very well for getting that home run to give you the 14 DraftKings points. And Joe Ross is just bad, period. We talked about him with the Ristis Aquino, and Van Meter just helps with a nice, sneaky red stack tonight.
Pierce, what umpire stats do you have to back up your argument?
Oh, yeah, actually, the umpire favors Van Meter in this, so I had to throw that stat away. I agree with him. Van Meter's a good play, but if we want, I can keep giving the same stats. They've mentioned all the reasons why you should play him, but if you want to be contrarian, the only problem here is Van Meter has a 28% fly ball rate against right-handed pitching and a 9% launch angle, so it's hard to help home runs when you're pounding the ball into the ground, but that's probably overthinking it too much. Van Meter's fine.
Okay. That will do it for Put Up Your Bukes. It is time for Slate Approved. So who's your lock for tonight's 14-game slate, Brian?
My lock for the night is Marcell Ozuna of the St. Louis Cardinals. Lefties, righties, you name it, they are all smoking Glenn Sparkman these days. Outside of one good start, he's getting beat up all over the ballpark. Ozuna's hitting 4 straight, including 2 home runs in those 4 games. His exit velocity is back up since coming off the IL. He's in a big spot tonight. The Cardinals are in a big spot. Give me Marcell Ozuna.
Okay, Pierce, Slate Approved.
I'll be a company man. Matt Boyd. Steve Buchanan says he's going to go for over 8.5 strikeouts tonight. Woo! And as mentioned in his DraftKings playbook article, he's in his last matchup against Seattle, and Seattle strikes out the most against left-handed pitching.
Unbelievable.
Steve, what say you?
Yeah, how do you feel?
I mean, Pierce is rarely on anymore. His takes are usually not that good, and that's why he's not on. But that was probably his best one. Like, we might have to cut that up and put that in a promo on Twitter or something. That was just unbelievable. Real quick here, I know we're quick on time. I love the National stack tonight. I think that's another team that's not being talked about a lot. They just absolutely crushed against lefties, and I think with attention on cores and such, I think the Nationals are going to fly under the radar.
Okay.
Love it, guys. Great job, Brian. Good having you here, dude.
Yep.
Also, I do believe there could be some weather issues tonight, so keep an eye on the DK Live Twitter account. And also, just download the app. Download the DK Live app because you will get push alerts literally the second. Major League Baseball will be like typing out a release that this game's been like postponed or delayed, and our app will already have the information.
That is very true. This show will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in. I'm Jessie. He's Emerson. That's going to do it for The Sweat. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m.